Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
And you are struggling today, aren't you? He's not having a good day, ladies and gentlemen. But we have another guest.
We are going international, Mark.
With our first ever, I was going to say Skype, but it's not Skype. We're using Google Meet. So I'm not going to advertise Skype. But nonetheless, our first guest who's here but not here.
Yeah.
Can you introduce him?
I can introduce him. But you know what? I don't actually know how to introduce him. So I have decided to do it as a former Portsmouth Fury player.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go through the list.
Start at the top.
Yeah. It's probably not his top, but yeah.
It's
anyway.
the top.
And now, stand and cheer for your former Portsmouth Fury number 12 at small forward, Simon Coutaud. Simon, how you doing? You okay?
Yes. Bonsoir. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you.
Bonsoir indeed. It's an hour ahead. He stayed up just for us.
Well, you know, not that anyone other than us would know this, but he is an hour ahead and we're also an hour late. So he's actually 2 hours ahead of us.
Wow. Hang on. We're an hour late?
Yeah.
I think Simon can confirm we are not an hour late. You are an hour
Just
late.
you are.
Well, it's not my fault. Well, let's talk to Portsmouth City Council. Let's get them on here.
Don't let it go.
Yeah, we're not.
Deep breaths. Let it go. Simon, I'm jumping straight on this. Number 12. Have you always been number 12?
No.
No?
No. My number is 14.
Ooh.
Because when I started, the 14 was the one left, so I took it and didn't really care. And same with the Fury. Just came with the guys. And I was so glad to be here. I took whatever was available. And I'm really proudly wearing number 12. That's full stop.
Yeah. And you know what? For our listeners who, don't know the significance of Simon, Simon has got to be considered as one of the godfathers. There's two of them, I think. One of two of the godfathers of the actual Portsmouth Force setup. Without Simon and Eman, I don't think you get the Portsmouth Force today. So, just really short, and we'll go into it, but Simon took over the what became the Portsmouth Force, a bit like Rob's role.
Yep.
And, did a lot of good work with that. And then when Simon went back to France, Rob took over and it's evolved from there. But
that's one of my few regrets for my 8 years in Pompey, not meeting Rob earlier.
Oh, okay.
I met Rob when Ellen started basketball, his daughter, and we already decided to move for family reasons and stuff. But I would have been extremely happy, and maybe I wouldn't have moved abroad if I would have met Rob earlier.
Wow.
Because, we would have achieved so much more and maybe earlier. We talked about it last Easter when I came back to visit. But yeah, that's one of my few regrets living in Portsmouth and not meeting Rob early.
Have you seen a Force game yet, Simon?
Never.
Oh, let us know when you come over. We will get you VIP seats next to us.
Is that VIP?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yep. Or front row seats somewhere. But yeah, I mean, you know what? There's one of a list of all of Simon's achievements for basketball. My favorite one, and I don't know how many people would know this, but Simon is the only person I personally know who has been an Olympic torchbearer. So for the London Olympic Games, Simon carried the Olympic torch, and he ran through a section of Portsmouth. I remember cheering him on. He was one of the people who turned up, ran up the Guildhall steps, and he passed it on.
Arnold at the start. He came at the start of the run with me, waiting for the link is actually the flame, not the torch. So you pass on the flame from one bearer to another, and Tim was there waiting with me for the flame to arrive. And when the fire arrived, you have your 400 meters run, like an Olympic run around on the track. And I was really lucky to be the one running from
I think you ran from the
called?
dockyards. I think it was the dockyards all the way to the Guildhall, right?
I arrived at the Guildhall, so it was like 7,000 people packed, and it was no cars or nothing, so just pedestrian. It was fully packed. But I started at the bottom of the pedestrian street. What was it called? Just next to Guildhall.
Coutaud Walk.
No, he came from the other way, like where the uni buildings are, I think.
Yes. Anyway, that's just 400 meters, so it was all pedestrian and closed, and it was really lots and lots of people.
Oh my God. Were you just thinking like, please don't trip?
Actually, no. You just get sucked by all the security running around you. So you try to follow them, but if you run a bit faster, they run faster. So I would have loved just walking it to enjoy every little second of it.
How amazing is that?
That's yeah, that is superb. That is a round of applause, actually.
Simon Coutaud, your Portsmouth Olympic torchbearer. Simon, do you still have the torch?
Well, mine, yeah.
Is it up on your mantelpiece in your lounge or something like that? Have you got it hidden away?
It was in a cupboard, because it took me time to value what it represented, because I was feeling just lucky to be selected among lots of people doing lots of work for their community, regardless sports association, helping kids or whatever, lots of amazing people, and I just got lucky to do that. And I felt like it doesn't define you really. You're not just a bearer. I was way more proud of having kids from schools loving basketball. At that time, sending them to Kestrels or Suns, because we didn't have any basketball program within the city. And some of them went to uni, got scholarships to America, got a job because of basketball. And you can be proud of something you've worked for when you see those kids growing up and achieving something. The torch, to me, was just luck. So for a really long time, it was in a cupboard, not having it on display or anything. But, it took me a bit of time to appreciate what it actually represents after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the corner of a room. But
that's amazing,
man. I'll be getting that out to light the barbecue every time. It's like, let me just get that for you.
So when actually they take it away from you, so they turn on the fire.
Yeah.
Flame goes on with another bearer, and then actually break the gas canister, so you actually can't use it anymore. Imagine the what Olympic image represents if you light up a cigarette or barbecue. It gives a bad image for the Olympic values.
Get one of the flamethrowers from Elon Musk and just stick it on the end like a muzzle.
Wow.
There we go.
Can you see what I mean? What an achievement! What an story!
Yeah, I mean that answer you gave, the fact that you working with all the kids and doing all that, that's why you were the torchbearer. There's no question there.
Yeah, and that's actually, it took me time to realize and accept that all the things. But adding one to another, was a TA in schools, and doing stuff with the community, different aspects. Everything added. Actually, the result was to be selected, but the achievement wasn't to be a torchbearer. Was never a goal. But when some kids had a job because of basketball and we worked hard for it, then you see, actually that kid, because of basketball, she's not a pro player. I say she because I was really involved with girls. We'll talk about it later. But lots of girls got 4 years, full scholarship in the US, came back with a certificate, got a job because they were good players. They got to that uni, they've had the opportunity to learn and now do their job because of basketball. We talked about Faye. It's an example to amount really good, exceptional players. You have an exception and someone can make a living out of basketball. That's the ultimate goal, but that's not the only one.
Yeah.
With the parents, we wanted the kids to grow up, develop, become good people, and basketball was a way to achieve that. It wasn't necessarily the goal. That's some stuff we are really proud of. And that's the same thing with the Olympic torch bearing. That wasn't a goal. That's cool. That's something to add. But
yeah, I mean, I remember taking pictures of you because I took my family and some of the Fury guys. We went to the Guildhall steps, and then you just run up and it's like, wow, he's actually going up the Guildhall steps. So it was great for us. So
That's amazing.
it's really blurry. I can't tell. It was so many people. I even didn't see my wife. I heard my mom crying, so I stopped and came back to give her a kiss. But I missed my wife, lots of friends on the side, and it's so packed and
oh, it's crazy. There's so many people there. Yeah.
And actually, it's just blurry. Even the memory of it's just blurry. When I see the videos we had from the run, and even the top of the Guildhall camera's view, it's like, oh yeah, I can't remember all of those things. That was crazy.
I hope you're wearing your Fury jersey.
Well, I was about to say that I think you had a special outfit. Everyone had to wear the same thing.
We had to wear. Yeah.
I guess people would be trying to get sponsors and
I was going to say the only way that could be better was if in one hand Simon had the Olympic torch and in the other hand he had a huge Portsmouth Fury flag.
Do you have one of them lying around? Huge Portsmouth
No, I'm just saying that would have been a good idea, wouldn't it? But so I wanted to bring that up because I just thought, you don't meet many people who have carried the Olympic torch.
No.
We were 3,000 in the UK.
Hold on. Olympics is in France next year.
Yeah.
You've got to go for the double. You've got to say, hey, look, I carried it in England.
You've got experience. You've got experience. That counts.
Nomination and stuff, so you can write letters and nominate people of what the good they did. And actually, I thought about doing it to write for some of my friends doing some work here. Not for me, no, for other people.
I think the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast should nominate Simon
100%
to do that.
Simon, you've got to be on that.
We need to do this.
You could say I'm a 2-time torchbearer.
Yeah.
Look how good I looked after that flame the first time. I didn't trip. I didn't do anything indiscreet. That flame was lit.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll bring the old torch if you want. I've got it. You don't have to give me a torch.
Oh, Simon, can you take a picture of you and the torch for us? And then when Mark does his promo videos, we can have that in there.
Yeah.
Only if you want to.
With a ball bouncing on the top. Because that kind of would look like
it's a massive torch.
Force. I know, but it would kind of look like the Portsmouth Force
could do
thing, because it's a ball, and then you got the Spinnaker Tower there, haven't you? Which is that.
Yeah. All right.
Well, good luck with that. Right, with Simon, I think today we should do this in reverse because, I really want to, rather than, because I know we usually start with the older stuff and then work up to, I think we should do it backwards because the stuff Simon's doing now, where are you, Simon? I don't want to mispronounce it. Yourself of
southeast of Bordeaux, Langon. Yeah.
Langon. So there you are. What I guess I know your official title is head of basketball operations, but you're effectively GM for all the coaches there, right?
Yeah.
So what is your role there? Because that's kind of where you've got to in your basketball career.
It's my hometown. We grew up with my wife here, and just coming back here. It's a small town. It's 8,000 people, but there's lots of villages around. So primary schools are in every single villages, but senior school, high school, college, it's here. So all the kids are around here. So for a small town, we have just under 3,000 kids playing basketball.
Oh wow!
21 teams.
Jeez, that's a lot.
And we are, we're not that big. But the fact of managing people with their professional commitments and helping them, with their basketball qualifications, prepping trainings throughout the week, the season, the year, it's really nice. And having some younger ones wanting to help out coaching and stuff. Today was the first day back for the 5-6 years old. I'm still running that one because I love teaching this age. And I had 4 youngsters, 13 and 14 years old, helping me out. And
That's
I just
good.
love it. So we have 16, 17 kids. I have 4 helpers. I run the training. I would have said run the show, because I'm having so much fun. I'm playing with the kids, and the helpers are like a captain of each group, and they're running their own squad. And then, but sharing this with youngsters or even parents who are helping out with their children's squad, that's what I really like to do. So I'm just linking people together, helping them out, and
in terms of the size of the region that you're talking about, Simon, obviously being that you were here in Portsmouth for a while, you comparative to the amount of, you said there's like 3,000 kids that you've got playing there. Like, how comparative is the region size to, say, Portsmouth and the surrounding areas?
In our county, like, that's one of the things I was really surprised with when we moved in Portsmouth. In our county, if you have a 14 or 15-year-old boy, in a county level, he has 6 or 7 different division level-wise. You can enter a squad. And then at the regional level, so between 3 or 4 counties around, you have 2 divisions, and then you have the National League. So a 15-year-old basically has 10 divisions. You can run a basketball squad.
And I think that answers your question that you had a few weeks back about the difference in ability.
Exactly where I was going.
There's a lot more basketball.
Yeah.
A bigger setup.
Because we did one recently, and if you haven't heard it, you got to go listen back on the episode. But we...
Which one was it with?
It was basically me having a moan about... We were trying to insult people.
We were saying that like the basketball played in countries like France is... They're so much better on the international stage than Great Britain, where we're currently 48th. And we were looking at the reasons why, and then you just said that, and we were like, okay, well,
there it is.
We actually have a county committee board running the county leagues. So which is we are a big county, so we have lots of different levels. But then you have a regional board for the regional leagues, and you have the national board for the French Federation. So, but I think we had like called the Saba was the area running a local league, and that's what was lacking at even not maybe for adults, but for youngsters, an opportunity to run some basketball at any level. So you have a child and you wanted to play basketball at its levels. It doesn't have to go National League and being crushed, but we have to find a way to have like Bev Gaiman did, and we shared that having a central venue league and having the people running basketball clubs locally around to meet together, and we just play. And sometimes you had elder children or youngster ones, but the level, the practice of basketball, the way they were playing was even. So you were having them playing against each other, and everyone got better from that.
And you know what? Just on that, I do think some of the stuff that you were trying to set up with Bev there, that has progressed. It's just not at the level you're talking about in France.
Yeah, because it's been established for years, but it has some issues because I'm dealing with the county leagues and stuff. It has some issues as well.
I mean, you got a lot of responsibility. You know what? I don't know why this popped in my head. I would be carrying that Olympic torch everywhere I went. I'd be walking into gym. There we go.
It's on my desk. It's on the front of the desk there.
Do you get asked a lot can people see it? Can you take it into the office and work and stuff like that?
Yeah. Never. It's not something you bring up, and
it's out there now. This going out there now.
Anyone who listens to this from...
Actually, I should use it maybe just to hammer some people when they're really annoying me.
Yeah. Hey, you'd truly be the godfather then. I can't wait till someone comes back to Portsmouth and there's a Portsmouth Force game. You can walk in with, hello.
That's how you walk in. How you walk in with the flame. Just hold it.
And
stand
then
in the middle.
Yeah, and we'll be like... That'd be brilliant.
That's like an entrance.
So Simon, how long have you been in France now? I can't remember when you left. Was it
left in October 2016?
2016. Okay. Oh, right. So, you know, you've done, to be head of basketball operations, you've done, you know, really well.
I actually didn't want to coach for 4 years. I refused coaching.
Why is that?
I was a bit tired of it. We changed our lives. We moved back in France to buy a restaurant, and my wife was a French and German teacher in Ferrum, and we changed our lives. We had the girls, and we wanted to get back closer to the family, and basketball would have been taking so much of, again, my time and energy and stuff. So I said no every single year, and COVID arrived, and because of COVID, our daughters were not doing sports anymore, and my friend at basketball said, "Oh, we want to run something outside so we can keep a link with the kids and the families and keep them active and stuff." So I went to help out, and you know, you put your finger in, and then it's your wrist, your arm, and you're like. And my daughter said, "Oh, yeah. Basketball is really cool," because they were not doing basketball at that time. And my younger daughter, at this age, they didn't have a team, so they had a gap. So I was like, "Oh, come on! She wants to play basketball, so I might as well do it." And that's why I'm still coaching the 5 and 6 years old. That's she was 5 at that time, and. That's an amazing amazing age when you learn actually what basketball really is. You play and you put a basketball and rules. You have to dribble and you have to, but you still play, you know, any game you want with adding basketball rules in it. And I had so much fun, so I kept this age group, regardless her growing up and moving to the next team. And yeah, been in more and more and more, and that's it.
And that's your life now. You know, yeah, we've talked about this before. It does take over time-wise.
How much time, you know, we've said just doing, not even just doing a podcast, but when Paul's done all the work for getting the sound up and everything like that and all the stuff in the background, and when the coaches and that, people don't see that, they just see.
And even the time when you don't count the time, you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You should ask my wife. Yeah, that's way too much time. but you know, on a more serious note, it kept me healthy. It kept me in a very good mood. Because of COVID, the restaurant was closed, and in 2020, 2021, we had lots of health restrictions. So it was really difficult mentally and financially, and having something with interacting with kids. It kept me, you know, going quite positive and not being upset with everyone and all the time. I wouldn't say it saved me, but it kept me in a good frame of mind. And
yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I remember
came back to my life and to our lives, because both of the girls are playing basketball now. My wife helps out with all the logistic in the club, so the four of us are fully in.
Oh wow!
Is there a different appreciation for basketball in France as comparatively to the UK? Do you find?
I guess it's just a bigger sport over there, isn't it?
No, but you know what? I would say, because of basketball, I've met some amazing people. People played basketball
You're
before.
welcome.
No, but like people who played basketball before, like you, Paul, and the guys were already there. You know, we were sharing that love for the sport, for basketball and everything. But bringing in some new kids, therefore some new families in it, and trying to create a club, because that's what we did. We started with, and it was not really popular, but we were creating opportunities for the kids, especially the daughters, when we were aiming to have the girls more active and stuff. You know, the people were fully in. We were doing some basketball, but we were doing something for their children. So the appreciation actually was, to me, that's even more than what we have in France. It's an established club. It's there. There's lots of leagues and stuff. So for some people, it's kind of on. You pay your yearly fees, and that's what you have, and that's fine. we had to create everything in Portsmouth at that time, and we worked really hard, but not just me, not everyone, and the families and the journeys for the games. It was quite far, but we created opportunities for, I would say, our daughters, because I felt like those girls were like my kids, and the appreciation will go way beyond, because even when we came back to visit people for a few days at Easter, now they're 2021, they were 12 or 13 at that time, they're young women now, but I'm so happy to see them and so proud of them, and really glad we were able to build something, this relationship with the whole families, and not just the kids.
Well, you definitely did that. Let's make the jump then. So we know where you are now. So let's make that jump back to Portsmouth. So you come into Portsmouth and you join, Eman. And you're now,
Eman was already there and working really hard. Yeah.
So he is what I would consider, you and him as the two, what I'd say, the godfathers of
Eman started
the Portsmouth Force. And then, you came into it, and from what I remember about it is like you really creating a strong girls presence, and we were all I remember looking, like, because I was reffing your games then, and I was looking at the National League girls going, this team is going to be bloody good, this team's going to be really good. And if you look at some of those players that you found from school, like Faye, now women's BBL for, is it London Lions, is it?
Yes.
Like, she came from Portsmouth, you found her at school, you put a basketball in her hands. Some of those other girls went on and played for the Kestrels.
Every single year, we were sending our talented boys and girls. Iman was more on the boys' side, and I was more developing the girls' side. But sons were having 2, 3, 4 out of the 10 girls from Portsmouth. It took us a bit of time to try to build something sustainable, to say, right, now let's try to do something.
Yeah, stop sending them down the road.
Yeah, but it would have been I wouldn't say it would have been a mistake, but we were not ready to support that, and we needed to have the support of the family as well. And you have to find venues for training, but venues for games and the equipment. So it was a big investment at the beginning, and we started with one team, and then they grew up, and we followed it up. We followed the girls from under 14 to under 16, but the young ones who were coming in were able to join an already existing under 14 national program. So we built it one step after another. And Iman was gone at that time, but I started it, and then Stretch, Richard Kinchington was there the second or the third year, and it was also a big part of this success, because I wouldn't have been able to run everything by myself, and but meeting lots of people and joining in the project, and that was key of this success as well.
Yeah, so that I remember that Portsmouth City, because you called it was Portsmouth City Basketball Club. That was the original name, right? Well, that was between you and Mick sorting out, wasn't it?
Yes. So I was really confused at when I came in Portsmouth, because Portsmouth Fury, Portsmouth Smugglers, Portsmouth Navy. It was a Lithuanian or Latvian group as well. So Portsmouth Tres Barriles and all those names, all those brands. I didn't understand how that was possible, because in France, how it works, you have a city club. It represents the city. So I went to Mick Byrne for some advice, which quite often did, and it was really helpful every single time. I say, Mick, okay, if I want to run something for the kids and something sustainable from young age all the way to seniors, we need to have it one way it's branded, and actually people can recognize themselves within the club. So Portsmouth City Basketball is like a big umbrella, and all the little clubs underneath were running underneath the umbrella. I say, right, if we want to have it branded, it has to be Portsmouth City Basketball Club. And Mickey said, that's fine, you can use my name. And he said, okay, thanks, Mickey. And we went for it. It was that simple with him. He liked the idea, go for it. thanks. And
you weren't competing with him.
No.
That's why he's being helpful. You weren't competing.
No, I'm not going to compete with Mickey. But anytime I had a struggle with something, just I was able to ask him and say, right, and I'm stuck with that. Who do I have to ask? He knew everyone anyway. He's like, okay, thanks, Mickey. And we carried on. So some rocks along the way, we were able to just push it away and just carrying on straight to our goal.
And that stuff that you were doing there, how much of those lessons that you learnt in the formation have you taken over to France when you've been taking on this role that you're doing
now? I had a very European vision of a basketball club. To me, it was very weird that men and women's team are called different, two clubs, even if they're alongside each other, but not a full identity. But that's the way it is. So I had to do it this way. But to gather people around a common project, a goal, working with Iman, Matt Birch, Mickey, to generate something, to create something people are going with this aim, this common aim. That's some of the stuff I learned, and now I'm quite confident and easygoing, saying, okay, that's how we're going to run the club here. We're going to do that because of this and this and this. I say, oh yeah, oh cool, okay. Everyone goes. That's it.
Because I think the WNBA teams, they have completely different names too. They're very WNBA teams that they have in the same cities,
like the LA Sparks and the LA Lakers. Yeah. I think I can't think of one that's the same.
There isn't. Because Seattle, I watched when I was in Minnesota. I sort of got to see the Seattle game. And as a massive Seattle fan, I was pleased to actually have seen a Seattle team. And it was the ladies' team. It was the Sparks.
And I'm just trying to think of a team where they are the same names, because it does make sense that they are the same. I mean, I think one of the things we're kind of looking forward to is when the women's catch up with the men's. And I said this to Mark a few times. It'll be nice when you have the men's fixture. Before that, you have like an under 18s, or after it, you have the women's fixture and stuff like that. I mean, it'll be a long day for us, but I think that'll be quite cool. But again, they would all be Portsmouth Force. Well, the Kestrels, Solent Kestrels, they're Solent Kestrels men's, Solent Kestrels women's, all the way down. For all their things. So they've got that.
What do you call your kids? You under your National League program?
Portsmouth Force. So it'll be Portsmouth Force under 16s, 18s.
And actually, the identity, the feeling of being part of a club, we are all the same. It's a strength.
Yeah. Well, in fact,
we had that on Rob's one, didn't we? When we were talking about the kits, how the kits going through. Tom.
No, that's what literally gone. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, about the kits, how the kits go through from the kids right up through.
So all the same kit, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's the journey, and that's where the kids who are playing there, they can aspire to. I'm wearing this jersey, and I've earned the right to wear this jersey, but at the same time,
exactly. And actually, the seniors on the floor are running the same.
Yeah,
like mine. That's something that's really funny. You talked about this because we had a meeting yesterday with the marketing team and sponsors, so we're going to try to rebrand and have some new equipment and stuff, and say we have to have one common kit, one jersey, same for everyone from 5 to seniors.
Yeah, you
everyone
have that identity then.
Exactly, that's reinforcing the identity of the club.
I don't know why I've just thought of this.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the Portsmouth Force take on
international game
London?
Why not?
You know what? We talked about it with Rob at Easter for the kids.
We should do it.
You have a trip.
Yeah.
In 2009, with Iman, Stuart Handyman, we took some of the boys over to France, and the year after we came back, so October 16. So for Easter 2017, my girls teams, they came to play tournament in Langon. So we had a big house, so we had a massive sleepover for 4 days at home, and they played games around in France here. But yeah, we talked about it with Rob
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Great experience all
Yes,
round.
absolutely.
I like, us coming to France or vice versa. What's the current team? What's the team called? Like, ours is the Force. What's yours?
We have no brand.
Just the city.
It's just we're representing the city. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It's not as branded as you guys.
And how far is that stretched, just out of interest? Because I'm just thinking where you got Bordeaux and you have, say, I know Biarritz much further south, obviously.
We are half an hour southeast of Bordeaux.
Okay.
So if you land in Bordeaux's airport, I can pick you up in 40 minutes.
Wow. Game on.
That's
Wow.
a date.
We should do another podcast
Live from Bordeaux.
internationally in
Or
France.
maybe we'll go to the beach and we have a live from the...
Now we're talking.
Okay.
There it is. Let's go to the beach. Get some sand on the toes. Lovely.
We have the highest sand dune in Europe.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying.
Kind of did a little bit.
We needed.
Have
we
you
need-
taken
Yes.
the torch to the top of that sand
Yes.
dune? Because that's what you 100%
and run
need
up
to do.
like Rocky and get to
That's the photo.
We actually took the boys in 2009 and the girls in 2017 there. So that's an amazing sightseeing spot. And they really like it.
If that's massive sand dunes, you could go there and say, right, this time we're working out. Here we
Yep.
go.
They just got to run up it. That's what we got to do.
50 times.
It's pre-season workout.
Yeah.
Up and down and now you go for a swim to cool down.
But that's a nice little segue. We've talked briefly about training with Dan, and as well we did with Tom. Pre-season, when you've got the juniors, what's the expectations for like training when you're in the off seasons and stuff? Because we're coming into the season soon, starting here, and I'm quite interested to see how some of the senior teams have kept their fitness up, shall we say? So, what's the expectation when you've got kids when it's sort of like an off season?
We're not competing at a really high level. In the county level, we're in Div 1, Div 2. We used to have some regional level when I played as a child, as a teenager, sorry. But after COVID, the club was quite impacted, and I found that we have now two types of kids. The one who want to just play basketball, and you have the ones who really want to compete at basketball and perform. So we had to have an offer actually for everyone. So that's why I had to reorganize the way we were welcoming the families and their children within the club. We're still growing as a club to perform. We are, for me, far further from what you guys expect from your National League teams here. But we have so many kids playing basketball, and that the really good ones are going to already established club. So we are in this situation when the same I was in Portsmouth before. Like, we have some good local league kids, quite a few good ones to play regionals also, but not enough to keep them, to build a team around them and with them to grow up as a club.
So you're almost a feeder for the rest of all the other clubs in the local area.
We're not far from Bordeaux, so the really good ones go to special sports school. So they sleep, in their school, and they train every day.
Like a proper academy kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where does Bordeaux sit in the French National League wise? As a feeder?
Actually, not that good. We have they play. So we have professional A and B leagues, and then you have national level 1, 2, 3, and Bordeaux is in national 2 or national 1, national 2, I think now. But we have professional teams an hour and a half south, an hour and a half northeast. We have women's professional A League 40 minutes down south, and National 1 in Bordeaux. So not too far, but we have some talented kids around. But because our town we don't have a uni, we lose those kids because they go to do their study in Bordeaux. so we can develop them as far as under 17 boys or under 18 girls. And if we don't have a really performing sports program for them in seniors, they will study in Bordeaux and find a team at the same level as in Langon without having to do the journey back to us. So that's the next step for us, to keep our young talents coming back to us because of we have a performance level as seniors. Because we perform on the county level, we perform quite well, but as a seniors, we're losing our talent because we're not a uni city.
Yeah. Simon, just you said sons a few times. Just for anyone who doesn't know what you mean by that, you're talking about the Solent Sons, and this was the girls setup. So this would have been
program,
the original Solent Kestrels girls.
It was Kestrels, women were separated with men. And it was Solent Sons and Solent Kestrels for the boys.
And you were head coach for the National League under 16s and under 18s, weren't you?
Yeah. After I moved in Portsmouth, I was with Ben Stanley at Portsmouth Uni, and that's how I met CJ Lee, and was a head coach for the women's program there. And Michael Ball left, so they needed someone else, and I went for it. And I've spent 3 years with CJ, with a assisting coach as a senior, and later I took on the under 16s team and then the under 18s women program. That was really good. You know, it was the proper example to have talented kids performing. But actually, I have to say, in my squads, we had Pompey girls, because the girls already were playing basketball when I arrived. We were sending them to Southampton for the Suns. So a third of the squad almost also were from Portsmouth. And after a while and working in school and finding talented kids, we said, right, if we keep those kids around, we'll be able to build something. And that's how we started, having enough to do the journey Portsmouth to Southampton, but also having so many talents in Portsmouth was not a waste, because they were, really well welcome and taken care of in Suns or Kestrels. But we were able to have something in Portsmouth with our kids, and competing against them it would have been better for everyone anyway, because everyone would have had to work harder to win.
So when you were doing the Solent Sons, was that also when you were going around and teaching in all the schools as well? Was that the same time?
I was doing the work in schools so Matt Birch was there. Matt
Birch, I remember him.
So there was some private fundings and stuff, so those people helped us a lot.
Actually, Matt did help. He was really involved, wasn't he?
Matt was a big part of basketball within the city, helping out to find some funding, so we were able to run some activities with the kids. And the idea was to create like after school clubs and schools league, so getting the kids to play more and more basketball. And the goal was to get them to join the local club in Portsmouth. And at the same time, I was doing some coaching with the Suns. And after a while, I said, right, now we have enough kids in Portsmouth to really start something up. So with the younger ones, say, right, if we start with this age group, from here, every single year, I'll be able to feed X amounts of kids to the club. My last year working around in the school, after the Olympics, all fundings were cut, and we had some relationship with some schools where we were able to do some after-school clubs. Some schools paid for it, so it kept on going for a little bit. But my last year, throughout the year, I was visiting over 20 primary schools. The senior schools, I had 7 or 8 schools. And we had Portsmouth College, Havant College, we were coaching, and Portsmouth Uni, of course. Stuart was in Chichester Uni. We were in lots of different places to follow up the talents and to bring them back to our clubs. So they were not going away. We're able to just send them back here and keep them together to try to compete.
And you found some talent, didn't you? You found some really good players. I mean, I know off the air we were talking about, Faye.
Yeah, Faye was in year 3, I think. So we have this. She was way too young because I was doing some basketball for year 5, and she really wanted to play. So don't say no. Just come along and play. And when we started basketball, I think she was 2 years younger. And when we started the national under 14s, she was 11 or 12. I can't remember. But she was always underage anyway, competing with the other ones. But she just wanted it. She was like a sponge, and just you teach and she learns. But lots of girls, because of basketball, were able to, like I said, have some scholarships and go to nice universities and learn a job. And that's because of basketball. And I'm as proud of those girls to be a part of their journey as well.
What makes someone stand out for you, Simon? When you say you look for people when you're scouting, obviously you had a lot of time doing this and going into schools and looking at children across a very different age groups. What are there things that are very consistent throughout the age groups that you say that stands out as a good player? The
attitude. If they pay attention, if they listen, if they try, regardless, not being scared of failing, the attitude to be calm and think about it. And you don't need to be loud to show off. You don't need to. So you always will have some children who will be really good at their age. They're 12, 14, but you'll be a really good 14-year-old basketball kid, full stop. You grow up and you won't be as good as 15 or 16, and then you'll be like anyone playing basketball when you're in your 20s. Like I'm trying to say to the kids, like the difference between a good player and a really good player, it's what you do when you fail.
Yeah.
If I fail, what do I do? What did I do to fail? And what do I do to change it? Full stop.
That's
and the really good ones are the ones who, after when they fail, they try to fix it.
Yeah.
And then that's just the attitude.
I don't know if it's Last Dance, but it's Jordan, isn't it? He says, someone says, "Oh, you made all these shots," and he said, "Yeah, and I missed 9,700 or whatever it is." And he quotes how many he missed at a certain distance, and he's like, "Yeah, I missed all of those as well." Like, yeah,
but you remember the one you score, but
yeah,
like people don't think about the amount of time you practice. All the kids now, I want to play games, they want to be a pro player. Just go for left-hand layup first, and we'll see after that. And they say, "Yeah, but I'm not making the squad this year." You don't listen. You can't.
Yeah. No,
unless you can play basketball and you do a basketball fun session with them. But if they want to perform, that's not the kids you want to.
It's the attitude, isn't it? Right attitude.
Yeah, the right attitude. Yeah.
The quote you're talking about, the Jordan quote, it was. I think he says, "I've missed 9,000 shots. I've failed in my life over and over and over again. That is why I succeed." That's the quote.
Yeah. It's right. It's right. Yeah. It's just that whole attitude, and
I mean that's a life quote, isn't it? Yeah. It's not just a basketball quote. That's something.
But that's
you
what
can
training
take
is
life.
for. The kids think training is to get better. Training is to fail, to experience failing. Because if it was easy, everyone would play in the NBA. So no one would watch it because who cares? Everyone can do it. Everyone watch it because it's hard. Because they've been failing and trying hard their whole life. So training is about, of course, it's about getting better and improving, but it's about to learn how to fail and how to fix it.
Yeah.
And being part of something, like you said.
Sorry?
And being part of something, being part of a team. It's if you're having a bad day, you go, "I'm still got to go out and do this because I'm right alongside my brothers or my sisters, and we're going out there as a team. It's not just about me today; it's about all of us." And
Or you play tennis. You want to be like yourself, you play tennis.
Yeah, a wall.
No, thanks.
No, you know what? There was a kid the other day, and I was talking to him a similar subject, and the analogy I came up with was an iceberg, and then you've got above sea level is everything that you see of the iceberg, but below sea level, that is all the hard work, all the shots you put up, and that bit that's underneath sea level is a lot bigger than that little small bit that you see at the top.
Yeah,
that's a good little analogy.
When someone does something, there was a guitarist who once said, what they see when I make it look easy, the easy bit is my 10,000 hours that I've put in to doing that. So that easiness is 10,000 hours of playing. And then you think, it is. It's just practice, and
you see those guys are training, shooting and scoring every single time, but they're still missing games. Well, I mean, practice doesn't do it all, but it's making sure the mechanics is there. So when you're tired, you're in the pressure, whatever, it goes like you don't think about it. It's muscle memories and stuff. You don't throw the ball and it magically goes in.
So Simon, let's talk about Iman.
Please, yes.
Because that's he had like what I've said before. He was like the other godfather, is how I describe it to people. So he was doing all that more with the boys, and then you got involved with him, didn't you? So how did you get into with Iman?
Luck.
Okay.
We were living in Dublin the year before I moved in Portsmouth, and the UK was actually lack of teachers, and they were offering scholarships for people to be language teachers. So we said, right. My wife was French assistant in Glasgow. She did a degree in Swansea in Wales, and we were living in Dublin. So we said, right, let's move to England. And so she said, right, so what do you want to do? Say, I'll follow you anyway. I was still learning the language at that time. I was speaking English for just under a year. And she said, why don't you try to find a basketball team you can help out and work? So I went on the England basketball website, and I looked at the teams, and I was just clicking one after another if they had an email contact. And I sent just a resume here. That's what I did for years in France. That's what I did in Dublin the past year. Are you interested to find, for anything? And I sent, I don't know, just under 10 emails or something. Not all. The website wasn't really helpful because it was just the England basketball website. But some of the clubs where you pressed on it and it was linked to the club's website. And I don't know how. I think obviously it was the Portsmouth Smugglers at that time. And the email went to Matt Birch or to Iman. And so out of my 10 or 12 emails I sent, I had an offer from Manchester, Leeds and Sheffield. So there was either to coach, to play, or to ref. But in Portsmouth, they would say, we were looking for coaches to develop basketball in school and stuff. I said, that could be nice to do lots of different stuff. So we decided to fly from Dublin to Southampton, and my wife sent an application for Portsmouth Uni, and that was a crazy day. I remember that was done 1st of September, and she had an appointment with Portsmouth Uni, and I had an appointment with Matt Birch, Iman, and I think Madeleine Campbell was there as well. Not sure. Anyway, she goes to uni. I go to, I think it was the 10th hall in Southsea or somewhere. We met for a coffee, and we chat about what do we think about basketball, how to develop, what I've done, and like an interview stuff. We click really quickly with Iman, and then my wife, my girlfriend at that time, she calls me and says, I'm really sorry to bother you, but actually I'm offered the full scholarship. So what do I do? I'm like, all right. So I tell Iman, my wife and my girlfriend has a full scholarship. I say, right, you can tell her you have a job too. Okay, right, okay. Say yes, please, say yes. So we kept on chatting and stuff, but we had no place, no English phone, no place to live, no bank account, nothing. So he right, we fly back to Dublin, we pack the van, and we crossed the Irish Sea, and we arrived on the 10th or 11th of September, and I was starting on the 14th, and she was starting on the 16th, but we didn't fill any forms because we had no place to sleep. We had some visits to do in flats in the evening and stuff, so we were really in a rush to start our new life in Portsmouth at that time. But that's how it happened. We just spoke about what can we do to improve basketball, and it's like, oh yeah, we can do that, oh I can do this, and that's how I would do it. And yes, okay, let's go for it. And that just threw me in with the kids the following week, and loved it ever since.
Wow. Amazing. And you know what? I've saved the best till last, Simon. I've saved the best till last. Was E-Man playing for the Portsmouth Fury then? Is that how you got into it? I can't remember when you turned up for the Fury.
E-Man was playing for the Smugglers with Mickey. You were playing for the Smugglers at that time as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I pretty much played Fury and Smugglers until Fury getting Div 1, and then.
Both. And I don't know why I turned up with the Fury. E-Man was doing it as well.
You must have turned up to Fratton at some point.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved it. That was just crazy. Crazy love.
We had a couple of good seasons when you were there, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah. We won Div 2, and
I think we would. I'm trying to remember the year now, but I think we won Div 2. We went undefeated and did the double.
2007.
And then
I wasn't there, so I arrived in 2008. So if I played the first year straight away, that's 2008, 2009.
Yeah, so I think we got to Div 1. I'm fairly sure.
I was here when we won Div 2 and moved up to Div 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you were playing when we lost to the Kestrels by 1 point.
Yeah.
I think we turned up, we had 6 players. And you know what, Mark? I don't know if you remember these days.
That was season 2008, 2009.
Oh, there you go. I can see the picture. Yeah, that was a great picture. Yeah, that was a good team.
That was an amazing team, and because of amazing people.
Yeah, E-Man was playing for us in those days. Craig Dawson, Portsmouth Force coach as well.
Was that Danny bottom left?
Lawrence.
Danny?
No, sorry, I'm
Tolu was there.
That's Steve Ware still playing.
Yep.
Yeah, Tim was there.
Lawrence Rowe.
Larry.
Lawrence Rowe, great player. Yeah. I mean, what I do remember, we had a great team. Then we went in Div 1 and we lost the whole team. And we were playing most games with 6 players.
Yeah, the following year we got some guys from National League coming down to local league with us. But it was tougher.
Yeah. You know what? I remember that season as well because we worked really hard.
No, I have it. We finished 5th in Div 1.
Yeah, we worked, but that's when Div 1 you had 10, 12 teams rather than the 5 you have now. But I remember we worked really hard in the off season thinking we want to win Div 1. That's what we really wanted to do. And we went undefeated in our first 3 games. And one of those games was against Bournemouth Bears, which was one of the big teams to beat. It was Bears and Smugglers we needed to beat. And we beat the Bears. And once we beat them, all the teams were looking like, wow, okay, they're a contender. And then for some reason, we lost half our team, lost to bottom of the league. The next week, and we're like, all right, that's our run over.
That's it.
And we were turning up to games with literally 5-6 players. And
yeah, it's never good.
Yeah, something broke with the atmosphere, the enthusiasm, the link between the guys.
Yeah, I think we just lost some key players for whatever reason, and then and it went from there. I remember one game we turned up, and I think you might have gone, Simon. I don't think you were here for this one, but it was close to you being in the Fury. And I remember we turned around and said, there's a player who plays for the Fury called Tim Arnold. You remember Tim, don't you, Simon?
Yeah, Timmy, yeah.
So for those who don't know Tim, I'm sure you do. You'll see him. He'll be at all the Portsmouth Force games. He's a little shorter than the average
Vertically challenged.
And we turned around and we had like 5 players, and we thought we didn't care. We got 5 players, we don't care. And we went, no one is allowed to shoot until Tim scores. And
The torch.
Oh, there's the torch.
That's the picture of the torch of Timmy.
Simon's showing us
That
a
torch
picture
is almost as big as Tim.
of Tim and himself with the torch.
The torch is as big as Tim.
So we turned around and said, as a team, we're not going to score. No one's allowed to shoot until Tim scores.
Yeah, I was there.
I think we were losing 30-0 or something, 30-0, and we were all getting Tim the ball, and he was just passing it. No interest in shooting. And then after what I think with about 3 minutes left in the first quarter, we just thought, oh, screw it, he's not going to shoot. We'll just start playing. But yeah, it was a great game. I think we only lost by 2 in the end. We should have tried from the start. But yeah. So what your Fury your Fury memories, Simon?
Obviously the people who were part of that team, just great people.
I think the one thing I would say about the Fury, which I haven't seen it in other teams myself around Portsmouth, is I know it's really cliche when people say family, but it is the one team that is very social. Like we used to all go out, all go around, see each other like all the time. Every other day we were playing basketball or doing something, and it was.
But even with the family, it's not
unit.
just the players. We have some of wives and kids already at that time. But you mentioned your mom earlier. But yeah, your parents came to games and stuff, so it was really a family team, and that's the way I felt being part of that Fury family. But yeah, memories like after some games you were hiding stuff in the changing room and
what me?
No, me, but the journey back from some games were very animated back in the car.
Yeah. I always like the away games. They're the fun ones. Even National League, I enjoyed the away games.
We're trying not to talk about cars or traffic tonight, Simon.
No, it's a naughty word. I didn't say traffic. You did, Mark.
I'm just saying. I don't want to talk about automobiles and cars.
I feel I've calmed down. Simon's voice has calmed me.
He was getting lucid.
But yeah, I mean, you know what, you're talking about girls' night out and stuff like that. I think it still happens every now and then. There's a Fury Wags night out. And anytime there was a Fury thing, I remember my wife used to always say, are wags allowed? And it's like, yeah, wags are allowed.
Wags are allowed. Simon, I've got to ask.
Yes.
French players in the NBA.
Yes.
Who is number 1?
Wow.
Today or
historically, I'd say.
Well, say your personal favorite.
Yeah, your personal favorite.
I think Tony Parker has been showing up that actually we talked about team. So being vertically challenged isn't an issue.
Nah. Parker is
talent. I think you guys, we talked with Mark earlier about this. I think you guys aren't ready for Wemby.
Yeah,
I've seen him for real warming up and stuff. He's not just the size; he's above everyone. Technically smooth.
Do you think he's going to do well?
If he's healthy, he's going to. That's something different.
Okay.
Really.
I think what was interesting, what you said before as well, Simon, was that he has been playing in the seniors for a while. So a lot of people are looking at Wemby thinking, oh, he's tall, but he's young and he's going to get pushed around. It's like he has been playing with the seniors.
He played seniors
for quite a while.
Professional basketball for 3 years, at least 3 years.
Yeah.
And he played Euro Cup, played for France. So no EuroLeague players or NBA players for the qualifying round and stuff. But he still played international basketball senior level. And he destroyed them. Very smooth, not showing off. And even here, after like I said, after the first 2 games with the Spurs, you say, right now I'm done, and I'm stopping the media for a while. I think it has been a big, noise around, lots of commitments he had to respond for the media.
Yeah.
And we said with Mark, if he stays healthy, that's going to be a big thing, really.
Gone the Spurs, the I won't say the atypical Euro team, but the Spurs have loved the European players over the years.
Yeah, it's a small market. He's going to be well protected. Maybe it's better for him, even if I think I agree with Mark. It's not maybe the best team he could have landed, but to improve, to learn the NBA, the rhythm, the frequency of games and stuff, he will be well protected there.
As long
maybe
as he
more than
turn out like Ruby. Like Rudy. We don't need another Rudy Gobert. Don't need another player like that.
Well, I think he's probably upset he didn't get, sent to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
that's what I probably is upset about. I think that's probably where most NBA players aspire to.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to one of the smallest markets possible.
No, one of the greatest NBA teams of all time. So the only thing I do think about him was, he got to the Spurs and they had that training session where he came out and he was like shooting on the court for the first time. He had all the cameras there, and I remember watching it going, why have you got all these cameras here? And he started shooting. It was like brick, and his first 10 shots were all bricks, and I'm thinking, why? It felt, do you know when Real Madrid get a new major signing, and they go in on the pitch and do keepy uppies? I'm always looking, thinking, what are you doing? And they'll do keepy uppies, and if they make one mistake with the keepy uppies, it's like, oh, he's terrible. You know what?
I think he doesn't care. I think he's well protected, and the family and people around. He will be. Interviews for years now. He's been prepped for that. He's been preparing for that moment to be in the NBA. That was his goal. That's not the ultimate goal, but so far he's been achieving everything he targeted, and. Hope for him, but he carries on.
I mean, if you think,
I think he doesn't care.
You think of a French team now, though, FIBA-wise, the French team have got some.
Oh, don't get me started on this.
Seriously strong players, but I'm just saying, Evan Fournier, for example, it's a great guy when he's on, but when he's not on,
how did France do in the?
I was thinking about coming out of retirement to play. Seriously, that was that bad.
I had to say it, Simon. I'm sorry. Listen, we're GB. We didn't even make the cut, so don't worry about it.
No, but some teams, they were seeing themselves a bit too shiny.
Yeah.
And I'm you know what? I'm quite glad they got a good kick. Where we're supposed to have one sometime. But even the US, very poor tactically. Coaching staff didn't actually shift the game around by taking a timeout and changing the defense. Or they've been really poor. It was, some really good coaches on the bench, and it just sat here with a really nice Team USA outfits. They crossed their arms and waited for the World Cup to go through. That was poor. But Germany, Latvia, even Canada, tactically they made some changes. They've tried some stuff. Sometimes it didn't work, but at least coaching staff was tactically trying stuff and working. France was really poor. Didn't really think to change some games. So did the US. So you know what? They don't deserve any medals. So that's fair.
Wow.
I mean, I'm looking at
stern but fair. The godfather of Portsmouth Force.
The world rankings. Just looking at FIBA here. It's still showing that France are 5th in the world rankings.
I think they haven't lost enough to drop down, but that was poor.
But we were saying
poor basketball.
We were saying that they're probably out of the top 12, 9 of them were European teams, and that's what we felt was so sad from a UK perspective. And growing up and seeing all those things was that it's like, why is the UK and the GB just not with 48th?
Well, I think when we're talking now and we're understanding there's this infrastructure,
massive infrastructure, which, you know
what, you have a venue, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right. So when you do your fun and fundamental session, you ask for £3 the session, so he pays for the venue. in France, actually, the infrastructure, it belongs to the city council. So you represent the city. So you're a city club. So they lend you the sports hall, and we don't pay any fees.
Did you know that? I knew, but Simon had told me this before, so I knew it. Did you know this?
No.
So you don't pay court fees?
No, we don't.
What about the refs? So you'd pay for
No,
all that?
yeah, you'll pay refs, right?
We don't have to have official refs up to a certain level. But yeah, then you pay for refs.
So you don't have to do the race around to find, can we have a ref
No.
tonight?
But just court fees alone, imagine how much training,
The time,
like with
the
all the
cost.
different teams. Yeah, that's
Yes.
significant. And when you get someone who, will, donate, I guess, that time, that is so significant to a club.
What about players'
that's,
fees?
That's the French culture. They're just saying, there you go.
Yeah,
you're representing. I don't want to say
You know
it.
what? We
Hold on.
even have money every year from the council to run the club, because we get children to sports and they represent the city. So there's an amount of the money from the city council for every single association. So if it's sports, cultural, or whatever, music stuff, and everyone has a bit of money to run the club.
You don't get that in England. You don't get that in England.
I mean, firstly, that's fantastic.
There's a lot more money coming in.
But that's why we had to get creative with Iman and then with the other people to get those people in. So having some work done or time to generate money for the club, so it could be a bit less expensive for the families to join the basketball club, and you have the traveling and all that stuff. Yeah.
So I just tying in nicely with that, I read something today about one of the BBL teams in the UK, the Bristol Flyers. And firstly, they're going to be in this Northern Europe League.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like 15 teams that do some sort of rotation. There's a couple of teams from the UK and then some other teams, but it's North and East Europe. It's this weird little league.
So it's going to be like Belgium. What's Netherlands? Or
I don't know. I
Danish?
saw the list, but it's like 15 teams. I'll send you the list. Weird that I was like, oh, never heard of that.
like
But
they're doing in rugby, when you have the Scottish teams and Irish teams.
Well, it was started in 2021, which I thought was quite interesting, because obviously, like you were saying about with the pandemic, and we've talked about the pandemic before, how a lot of people got their love back for the sport, or they actually realised how important it is to themselves and mentally and everything. And so I think it's in 2021 this kicked off, and it was in juniors, but they actually did it for seniors, and it started off with various teams, and now it's growing sort of each year. But what was interesting was that they said the Bristol team that are going, they've just had a stadium ticked off, that they're going to be building a stadium next to the football team. So I'd imagine the person who owns the football team has interest, which is obviously a similar parallel with Portsmouth historically, because the person owning the football team owns that. And basically, their stadium is going to be 3,600 seater stadium.
Wow, they're copying everything that I've said on this podcast. They're just, I think they've been listening to us over the last couple of months and going, boom, just do it.
Yeah,
do it.
100%. Bristol Flyers podcast. Give us a call. Tell us all about it.
Oh God, Mark, they got a Bristol Flyers podcast.
Yeah, it's not like us. But I'm just saying,
They're copying everything we're doing.
Wow,
it's nice to know we're setting the tone for the BBL.
Hang on, while we're on this, you have kindly said that once you win the Euro Millions, you're going to actually build a stadium.
Yeah, so the Bristol Flyers will be able to see, what my vision was.
Would you want to take that vision international and help Simon?
Yeah, why not?
Well, when I win the Euro Million, I'll build one in Longo and I'll build one in Portsmouth.
There you go.
There we go.
We got an agreement now.
2 feet in the camps of getting something done.
We got an agreement. I'll do one in England, one in France. Simon will do the same. There we go.
Look at that.
But
the odds have just doubled.
For you guys are really good at with football and stuff. He represents a lot of money and millions, and the way to go through that, it's maybe to get back closer to Portsmouth Football Club, because for them, if it's I would say £10,000, it's not much, but it will represent a lot of money for the basketball to run something.
Yeah.
And if it's a facility, if it's events, and if it's stuff, being branded as a multi-sports club, like they have Real Madrid or Barcelona, and they have a football section, a basketball section, and lots of different sports. Maybe that's the way to go to grow up and to get even bigger, because to them, basketball doesn't represent much and it doesn't represent a lot of money. But this little amount of money for them is a huge amount of money for basketball.
Yeah, that would make a massive difference.
And those teams, incidentally, some of those ones have been, I won't say in lower leagues, but works their way up. Some of them, like some of the London teams, have been established for decades. So there's money, there's been a place, it's been a little hub. But when you see these other teams, you think it's quite interesting. I thought, if anyone from Bristol hears it, give us a shout out. We'd love to chat about it, because I think their history is fascinating. They've molded some teams together.
What about we could approach them about doing a joint Portsmouth Force, obviously it's going to be first, / Bristol Flyers joint podcast.
Yeah, so we're going to put the Division 3 team first ahead of a BBL team. Yes, great. I'm sure they'd go for that.
Hey, easy. They haven't got Simon Olinipeku, okay? That's the fact.
That is very true.
They haven't got Alex Grant. Fact.
Very true.
Patrick Elaguace. Fact.
They haven't got stunning commentators.
Fact. Exactly. Boom.
How just quickly, Simon, we've had you for ages. We've got a couple of last questions, but one thing I want to ask: the courts that you just talked about, like the municipal courts and everything like that. What's the standard of the courts and everything? Like,
you don't have badminton lines on there as well, do you?
That's his pet hate.
We have. It's not only basketball, because the school are using it during daytime, and we have it from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day.
Wow,
that's really
every
good.
day.
Yeah,
but we have 3 sports halls to train.
That is.
What, are they like next to each other, or different locations?
Yeah, 300-400 yards away from each other.
Oh, okay,
that's fantastic.
The city sports hall, and we have the 2 senior schools sports halls.
I mean, it's just right there, isn't it? The foundations are there to make it accessible. So then
the kids actually stay in their school to get to practice. And the other one from the other senior school, they just walk.
What else do people need to see to
encourage
kids
around? Because senior school and college, we are the only one within the area, so we have all those kids around here. So we want to keep them here. We close the door, we keep them in. But and do you know what? We don't have enough facility. I'm struggling with the schedule to fit everyone
3,000 kids. Yeah, I bet.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's the model. That's where we want to get to. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Get even close to that, a snippet of that.
Definitely.
Well, right, Simon, we're going to ask these questions.
You got your normal questions.
I've got to ask them
to end the show.
So you've got one shot. It can be any shot. It could be an inbounded 3. It could be an inbound to a dunk, whatever it is. Who is taking that shot?
Yeah, Michael will have to take it.
Yeah?
MJ.
Yeah.
What shot? Are you saying any shot?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
you just have to be a killer. I think he's the ultimate one. So that's for him.
I mean, he's pretty much set that standard, isn't he?
Why haven't you done the board yet, Mark? You're going to update this. There's no board.
I'm working on it. I'm working on the board. I've got some off-air stuff I want to tell you first, because that might change what we do with the board.
Okay.
On to the second question, Simon. So, you get.
Can we ask him the coach question? Because he is an old Portsmouth.
No, it's the coach. It's the 2-part.
Yeah.
So the first one is you get the 5. You've got to have your starting 5, and you get a 6th man. You got to pick them, and then the second part of this is you then have to pick the coach. Who's the coach for that team?
Right. So
I am available if required. Simon.
I know.
He's desperate to put a suit on and jump out somewhere.
Hang on, because I thought about it.
I mean, just going through MJ is very prevalent, isn't he? Taking that shot.
Actually, no, I think it's going to be so annoying to coach, so I won't pick him. Because I would love to have players able to play with each other.
That is my problem with my players.
So I think I have Magic.
Magic?
Ooh.
Yeah. I have Magic.
How many did he get? 4, 5? 5.
He's definitely 4 or 5. Yeah.
I have LeBron and Larry Bird in the wings.
Bird.
Damn.
Second time LeBron and Larry.
And I have Tim Duncan and Shaquille O'Neal inside.
Sorry, was that Shaq and
Tim Duncan.
Duncan?
Damn, that's a huge team.
That's
Hang on.
quite high.
Hang on a second. You've got Magic, LeBron, Larry Bird, Shaq, and Tim Duncan. You haven't got MJ in your 5.
No.
He's too tired after taking the shot.
Yeah.
Who's coming off the pine?
Who is it? Who's the pine warmer?
I'm a Warriors fan. I'm gonna take Steph Curry.
Oh, interesting. See, I always think put MJ on the bench. Because can you imagine how...
Yeah, you need him to take the last shot. That's true.
No, just to see how angry he would be. That you go, like he'll be walking out and you're like, on the bench, mate. And then he would be sat there seething. And the second he got on the court, he'd just destroy everyone. Wow. That's a big team. Magic, LeBron, Bird, Shaq, and Duncan.
If they play small ball, we might be in trouble. But I think we can score every single offense.
That's a ridiculously large team.
And that's people who are able to pass the ball to each other. So that's a team sport. So I'm sorry for Kobe and Michael.
Not one European player there. Just saying.
And who's going to control them all?
Who's the coach?
Who's going to control that team? Is it going to be Simon Coutaud?
Nah. Oh.
These are really hard questions, you know.
I know they are. That's why it's always good.
And everyone, will have a different answer, and you can't say they're wrong anyway because everyone's right.
I guess the thing is with the coach, it's tough because when you get to that level, you're talking about having Steph Curry sitting on the bench and Magic, LeBron, and Bird and stuff. You're not coaching them as in strategy necessarily, are you?
You have the coaches who have won so many things, having superstars like Phil Jackson had Kobe and Michael, and it's you just managing egos. If you want to have them to play like really good basketball with each other, we talked with Mark about it. We really like what Spoelstra does. We can talk a younger coach nowadays, so because I don't know the elder ones, but Mike Malone did with Denver, getting them to play really well. Miami, the way they play the guys. Mike Brown from the Kings, it's kind of a philosophy, sharing the ball, and everyone is almost at the same level because they're just part of the team. I kind of like this philosophy as a coach.
So sorry, who are you going for there?
Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, Spoelstra.
Okay, nice. Wow.
Yeah, he's one of the most decorated, isn't he? He's got some of the most playoff games, I think it is, won.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's like third or fourth on the all-time list of playoff games won or something.
Okay.
Just think how long he's been there.
Just trying to think who else would be there. You go, Bill Russell would be up there, I guess, with 6. Phil Jackson. The Lakers record might bring him down, but I mean, he's got 9.
He was 2-time NBA champion, 2-time All-Star head coach, top 15 coaches in NBA history.
But if you want a European one, we'd take the European coach's godfather. We'll take Sasha Obradovic. That's a crazy one.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to that last part of the show. Simon, someone's going to shoot a shot for you. Are you going to do this?
I'm not. No. I would be
Simon, I will shoot a shot for you. Just to let you know, I did this on one of the more recent shows, and I got 3 out of 3. It wasn't confirmed, but I got 3 out of 3. Okay, so that's who you got shooting.
You say that now, and that's now you're gonna miss it.
Mark, you got to commentate. Hang on.
I was about to say, I think I was worried that I would do him a disservice, but I saw the last shots that you threw up, and that would definitely do him a disservice.
You have to turn the camera because I can't see the shots.
He wants to see the shots, Paul.
Yes, please.
He's not. He wants to see the shot. There he is. There he
I can
is.
see, Paul. Where's the basket?
The basket. We can't. I can't do the basket. The basket is just behind his. It's literally just behind
I
here.
can't even see that.
No. The basket's behind there. He's hitting bricks.
Yes, I can see that.
It's just bouncing all around. It's embarrassing. I've got a cable plugged in, so I can't move it. But
That's right.
I can assure you. Oh, that was about 2 foot out from the ring.
Seeing Paul's face, I can tell that's not in.
Yeah, it's pretty regular. I mean, obviously, he will be suiting up.
Simon, that was
for that team that you wanted, Simon.
It was 0 out of 3, unconfirmed though. Unconfirmed.
Well, when Simon makes this surprise visit one day,
You can bring him just to take the shot.
that's it. That's all you're going to do. You're just going to come down. So I've got to go to Portsmouth. Doesn't matter where you're going in the country. You've got to come down to Portsmouth. Just got to take my shots. 3 shots and I'm out.
Wow. Simon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
the way
so much for having me.
from Francois.
That was terrible.
What? What?
Just butchering
Was it French?
Yeah,
What did you say?
exactly.
Je parle un peu de français.
That's good, yeah.
Boom.
Je parle un peu français.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon, for joining
Simon,
us.
that has been absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for waiting for us. And
That's okay.
yeah, I think we've got some more guests coming up, haven't we, Paul?
Ooh.
Yeah.
We
Spoilers
do.
or we don't?
We can't do spoilers because we did do a spoiler in the last one, and he didn't.
Rob didn't
He
turn up.
cancelled.
He
The
didn't
boss
turn up.
didn't
We've
turn
had
up.
him booked in for 8 weeks,
Yeah.
and it keeps getting put back another
Yeah.
2 weeks. So
We're
I've got
taking this
a lot
personally
of
now.
guests lined up. I'm at a point now where I need to start booking them all in.
Yep.
Because we had one big 2 month of booking them all in. I now need to do the
And
next
we've got to do the
booking.
next batch.
But I've kind of got like 10. I
gremlin,
will
the
say
next batch.
one little spoiler for you. I
Okay.
spoke to a Portsmouth Force player at a Fury training last night,
Ooh.
and that was Patrick Elaguace.
Oh, really?
And I was saying, Patrick, when are you going to come on the pod? And he said, he proposed an idea, and that was for him and Simon Olini-Perkun
Yep.
to come on together.
Dynamic duo.
So 2 Portsmouth Force guards on at the same time. So let's see what will happen.
That'd be our first 2 for 1.
Yeah, you normally have to pay double for that.
Wow.
So-
okay. We got almost all the way through, and it's you who's inappropriate.
Simon, do you want to do a shout out to anyone in France?
Just want to send my love to all my friends in Portsmouth. And I really want to thank you guys. And actually gave us a really good idea. So not like a Bristol team. We're actually going to have our 20th anniversary for the club here in France.
Oh, really?
The basketball club next season. And the following season was actually in 1975 when basketball was created within the multi-sports club within the city. So next year, 20th anniversary for the club. The following year, the 50th anniversary for basketball in town. So I said to the boss, right, that would be a really nice idea if we get to interview people who made the club, like you guys do. I said, oh yeah, that's really nice, and we can do this, we can do that. And thank you, because that was a really fun experience to do, and really nice meeting you, Mark. And
Yeah, lovely to meet you,
we actually gonna try to do the same in a way that our kids here will get to know the story and the history of the club here.
let us know. I'll listen to it. We'll share it on the
Absolutely.
on the socials. And
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll give a shout out for sure.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That'd be amazing. Simon,
Well,
it's been an absolute pleasure having you on
Thank
the
you
show.
very much.
Thank you so much for your time. You want to hit that button?
There we go.
So that ends another episode. That was a good one, wasn't it?
As good as it gets.
Fantastic.
I want to send all my salutations to everyone in France.
Yes, well, absolutely. So if you haven't listened to any other shows previously, go back, take a listen. We're on all the streaming platforms, and we have got a new podcast link. So you go and check out the new one. It's the Portsmouth Basketball Podcast. That's all it's called now. So go and check that out if you haven't before, and tune in for next week and the week after and the week after that. We're going to keep them coming. But for now, wherever you are, whenever you're listening, we thank you so much. Take care and bye for now.